sign up for folks. We also have a strike fund. It is potential that this unit will go out on strike again. We went out and strike in May. It was successful. It got the employer back to the table. It got them to move off some of their draconian positions, although few things remain. And we will talk about that as we go forward. I want to give one shout out to the Teamsters, 662, Local 662. They are currently on strike in De Pere and Chippewa Falls. So in De Pere, it's at the new Dairy Select Milk plant. In Chippewa Falls, it's at Line and Kugel's. Shout out to them. They have a GoFundMe page as well, or a strike support page. If you all can go out and support them up in those areas, they'd be very much appreciative. So please, solidarity for all of us, right? We need these strikes to be successful. We need the community to turn out. When those employees are on strike, they need all of your support. If they're in pain, we all kind of suffer as a community, right? Good jobs for the whole entire community. So first up today, we have the State Senate Democratic leader, Melissa Agard. Melissa came out to our strike in May. We are so forever thankful for that. She represents the 48th District of the state of Wisconsin. She serves as the ranking member on the Legislative Joint Audit Committee and the Senate Committees on Housing, Trade, Commerce, Human Services, Children and Families, Financial Institutions and Revenue, and Natural Resources and Energy. Geez, that's a lot, right? Warm welcome for State Senator Agard. Woo!
What's disgusting?
Union busting!
What's disgusting?
Union busting!
That's right, folks, and that's why we are here. I am Senate Democratic Leader Melissa Agard, and I represent proudly the 16th Senate District right here in Wisconsin. And it is always an honor and a privilege to stand with my union brothers and sisters in Wisconsin to ensure that we are lifting each other up, because we know when we each do better, we all do better. I know that supporting and honoring the working people of the state of Wisconsin should be the frame with which all of my colleagues in the building across right behind me go to work every single day. But unfortunately, that is not the case. And it is not the case that all of the corporations in Wisconsin are lifting up and taking care of the people who are creating their profits. And that's what it is that we are seeing right now here in Madison. And that's why you are here, making sure that our community knows the fight that you are in so that we can have your back. It is our job to have the backs of the workers of the state of Wisconsin. So I want you all to think back. When was it that standing up for your values became something that you decided to do on a Saturday morning, when certainly there are other things on your list to do, whether it is the chores that you have at home or spending time with your friends and family? But we know that making space in our lives to uphold democracy is something that we all need to do. Democracy does not happen by itself. Democracy is something that each and every one of us chooses to do every single day. And whether it is as a child who is here with their parents, learning about how the process works, or you're a worker who is on the front lines, who knows that your boss does not have your back in the way that you are creating profits for them, or as community members, knowing that when the businesses in our community do well, our community thrives, or as elected officials, that we know that we need to ensure that our laws are just and ensure that workers are being taken care of. We all know that we need to step up and take that space, and that's what you are doing today. And it is vitally important that we add to that list voting in every single election, whether they are the elections at the polling places in our communities or whether they are the elections in your workplaces. That is the equalizer for democracy. And you know what? If the folks that are at those tables because they were elected are not holding up to their promise or what it is that your values are, stand up and run for office. We have seen that be successful, and that is why you all are here, because you have leaders who know the benefit of standing up and fighting for what matters for all of us. We know that when you work hard, that you need to be provided with the foundation to be able to take care of yourself and your family, because you are going to work to create those profits for your bosses. And unions ensure that equalization. Union rights are human rights, folks. So the state of Wisconsin became stronger in the 19th century when we were leaders in the worldwide labor organization movement. We led the nation with our workers' compensation plans, with unemployment insurance laws, models that other states and our federal government followed. And you all are models for other workers, not only in Wisconsin, but across our nation. We are seeing a movement where the hardworking people are standing up and saying, no more, you are making record profits off our backs. It is vitally important that you take care of us so that we can take care of you. Unions provide that protection for you so that you can go home and take care of your families, and that our communities can continue. Your family has that prosperity, as well as our community is being able to be successful and being able to move forward. TruStage has not bargained in good faith, and your actions are unrelenting, and we are going to get them to cross the finish line to have your backs. That's why it is that we are here. That's why my colleagues and I come and support you, and we will continue to support you as you can call us and let us know where we need to be. Because we know that we all do better when we each do better, and you are the picture of that right now. So again, Wisconsin was built on the backs of hardworking people, and organized labor was born here in our state. It is vitally important we get back to Wisconsin to being a leader in lifting up the hardworking people of our communities, and it's been well over a decade since that has been stripped out. But because of people voting in elections, there is a new day coming to the state of Wisconsin. So not only do we need to make sure that you all are fairly represented and compensated at your workplace, but we need to know that the people of the state of Wisconsin are fairly represented at the state level. So on Tuesday, we'll see a judge, Janeth, turn into Justice Protasewicz. We know that she will have our backs. We know that democracy is going to run right through the state of Wisconsin in 2024. And because of your hard work, I know that you're going to be taken care of, and you're leading the way for the state of Wisconsin, because, folks, union rights are human rights. What's disgusting? That's right, folks. Solidarity.
Up next is Vernon Winters. He is just celebrated his second year at TruStage. He is a proud Local 39 union member, works as an IT analyst at CUNY Mutual Group, and is a member of our contract action team. Vernon.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. My name is Vernon Winters. I am a worker at TruStage, formerly known as CUNY Mutual Group, a proud member of OPEIU Local 39, one of many in attendance today. Yes, let me ask you a question. Would you feel right buying a product or a service from a company that was not prepared to stand behind it? What if their product was meant for everybody, but they didn't want you to have it? No. If you visit the TruStage website, you will read the following. We're on a mission to make a brighter financial future accessible to everyone. A brighter financial future. Oh, really? Is a brighter financial future in the cards for TruStage workers whose wages are not keeping pace with inflation? No! How will their future look without affordable health care benefits? What if their jobs are outsourced to an offshore workforce? Over 1,200 jobs have been lost so far. How do you feel about a company that is reluctant or slow to negotiate with the union that is trying to establish a brighter financial future for its membership? It has been 485 days since the negotiation process has begun. Do you feel good about a company that engages in unfair labor practices, such as withholding information, retaliating against membership, and intimidating workers on the recent strike line? No, I don't either. I can only answer for myself. I do not feel good about this. In fact, the local credit union where I do business recently called me on the phone in an attempt to sell me TruStage products and services. So I shared how I felt. I told that sales representative that as long as TruStage did not have a contract with its union, that I would not be purchasing any TruStage products and services. Needless to say, this sucked the air out of the conversation. Talk about your uncomfortable silences. Whether it is walking the picket line, attending a rally like this, talking about this with your family, friends, local businesses, make sure that your voice is heard. So I'm going to leave and ask you one question. What's disgusting?
Union busting!
Thank you for being here today. Stay union strong. Solidarity.
So next up is our very own Congressional Representative Mark Pocan. Mark was sworn in as a U.S. Representative for Wisconsin's 2nd Congressional District in 2013, following 14 years in the Wisconsin State Assembly. Small business owner, union member, advocate for progressive causes, Representative Pocan fights for policies that promote economic and social justice and support the families of South Central Wisconsin. In the 118th Congress, he serves on the House Appropriations Committee, where he sits on Labor, Health and Human Services, and Education Subcommittee, and the Financial Services and General Government Subcommittee, and the Task Force on Agricultural Nutrition in the 21st Century. He is the chair of Equality Caucus, co-chair of the Labor Caucus, and chair emeritus of the Congressional Progressive Caucus. Please warm welcome for Congressman Representative Pocan.
All right, let's hear it for OPEIU Local 39. We are in the house at the farmers market today. I want to repeat something that Senator Agard said because I think it's so important. A former progressive Midwestern senator from Minnesota, Paul Wellstone, used to say, "We all do better when we all do better." That is at the crux of the labor movement. We want to make sure that workers prosper, and by workers prospering, companies prosper. It is as simple as that. And we are at an all-time high right now with the public on behalf of those ideas. When you look across the board, the public support is about as high as it's been in 50 years for workers having a voice in their workplace. And smart companies can read, and they're seeing that. We just saw a really big negotiation this week between the Teamsters and UPS, and with a win-win. And all companies should look at their employees as their single best asset, why they're a company, why they're able to make money, why they're able to make sure their executives and shareholders make money, is all because the workers have done that for their business, and they need to respect that, and so does CUNA Mutual / TruStage. Now, based on all that, you're probably thinking what I'm saying is TruStage should come to the table and negotiate a fair contract. But by ethics rules, I can't say that directly. So here's what I'm going to say. TruStage, it has been nearly 500 days without a contract. Throughout COVID, companies have made record profits with CEOs and worker pay as big as a discrepancy as ever. And some of the largest profits are out there, and companies have been gouging consumers. And we need to make sure that everyone can keep up by having good pay and good benefits and safe working conditions, right? That means if I was a company like TruStage, I would certainly want my employees to do well because I want to do well. And that is the message that we need them to hear loud and clear. But also, we need them to hear negotiate fairly, because already they've been slapped once for not operating fairly. And I also remember meeting recently with Joe Ivica and a few other folks, and literally a couple weeks later, Joe was fired. And there are union rules, there are labor negotiating rules around things like that people like me look at very, very closely. So while I am not directly saying TruStage should negotiate a contract now that's fair to its employees so they can continue to profit, I am saying if I were a company that sounded like TruStage and hadn't negotiated for 500 days and is in violation of labor law and has possibly improperly fired some labor organizers, I would get my shit together quickly. That's all I'm saying, because I can't say more. So, when do we want a contract? Now. We will get this done. CUNA Mutual had a long history of labor peace in working with their employees. I want TruStage to have that as well. And the way it happens is come to the table and meet more than 3 times in the next month, and let's get this done. Thank you. Thanks for your patience. We'll get this done.
Next up, we have a couple of strong union advocates from Voces de la Frontera. This is Stephanie, Janeth, Salgado, Altamirano. Stephanie was born and raised in Tegucigalpa, Honduras. I'm so sorry, I'm sure I'm butchering that. So Honduras has taught her much about the corporate and environmental and labor violations, violence, and greed. At the age of 14, she came to the United States in search of a better life. She attained her education at UW-Madison in political science and environmental studies, with an emphasis in Chicana and Latina studies and public policy. Now, as the Madison organizer of Voces de la Frontera, she works with her community to fight for immigration reform, racial justice, workers' rights, and climate justice. Warm welcome for Stephanie. Thank you.
Thank you, Madison community, for being here today. Clap yourself today. I'm so glad you're here today, yesterday, and into the future. Your work here in the streets, in the meetings, in the Zoom will not go in vain. For you all have set the tone here in Madison for what our community deserves, which are workers' rights and the bare minimum, respect. We will not stand by unfair treatment, aren't we? Hola a todos, my name is Stephanie Janeth Salgado Altamirano, and as you know, I'm an immigrant from Honduras, 21 years of age, and I've been given the opportunity to be part of the Madison community organizer of Voces de la Frontera. The reason why I start saying why I dedicate myself every day is really to show how proud I am to be working alongside the people here nowadays in Madison that want to make a change for it. And you all are part of it. Sí se puede! Previously to my education at UW-Madison, I have not even heard, or even less, seen a group of workers organizing themselves, unionizing themselves, and more importantly, advocating for themselves against unfair treatment. Crazy, right? To be honest, the only thing I have learned about workers' rights was in the books. But now I am so glad that I am able to see it on the streets. This is why it's so important that we come out to see these moments where we can all stand together in solidarity. This community can inspire, can create, can heal, and can build change that they want to see for everyone. Voces de la Frontera is honored to be here with you all to fight for a fair contract. You know, my mother received a promotional mail package from TruStage for life insurance. And as I look through the letter, I wonder, how can a company talk to you about life insurance where they don't even want to consider the wants of its workers? I looked up their legacy for people, for helping people, for which they explain, and I quote, "It's a tradition that welcomes everybody, celebrates difference, and makes a positive impact that moves us forward. Our goal is to build a more inclusive financial society or industry, empowering businesses, customers, communities to find new ways to grow." Ironic, isn't it? They literally forgot its workers. When you forget communities, including workers, empowerment, it includes challenge to growth. But more importantly, differences make a positive impact that makes us all go forward and move forward. You are not practicing what you're preaching, TruStage. Clearly, they have not lived up to their values and eroded that respect between workers and management. That's right. And I wonder, as an immigrant, how can it be the United States, being in the top 10 to wealthiest nations of the world, having a hard time paying its workers so they can survive and their families? Right. Nevertheless, we are here despite the many postponed meetings for negotiation, numerous Zoom meetings that they failed for the union, and many picketing days. How many? How many picketing days? Up to 400. I cannot believe it. So to demand what's rightfully yours, let's all demand for a fair contract. When? Now. When? Now. Thank you all. And now, please welcome my amazing colleague, Nindy Figueredo, the Essential Workers Network organizer for Voces de la Frontera.
Hi everyone, good morning. Like Stephanie said, my name is Nindy, and as an immigrant worker, as a mother, as someone who works with a statewide workers network through Voces de la Frontera, I want to share my most profound respect and commitment to all that you are doing to fight for your families, for your wages, for your dignity. As you may know, Christine Newman Ortiz is the director of Voces de la Frontera, and she is aware and fully supportive of this strike. I heard someone say before, no matter how many times they may change their names, Cuna Mutual, TruStage, whatever it chosen to become later, we will not be fooled. We will not waver. We will keep fighting for what is best, no matter how many times they change their names. I want to tell you that I do know a thing or two about long fights. My husband and I have been in the struggle for a just immigration reform and a strong effort for Wisconsin driver's license. It's been over 10 years fight. But But just like you, we will not stop marching. We will not stop organizing. We will not stop mobilizing. Through our collective work, through us showing up, through compassion and kindness, through our solidarity, through the intersectionality of our work, we will not be divided. Together, we will overcome. Thanks to you, all the workers, union leaders, allies, and families who keep the workers united fighting against unfair labor practice. Thank you.
Our next speaker is who we call the member whisperer. Bryan Barber is a trustee on our executive board at the local. He is on the bargaining committee. And most of all, he is our go-to person for introducing new members to the bargaining unit. He is our go-to guy. He is wonderful with employees. So welcome, Bryan, to the speaker.
Thanks, Kathryn. Yeah, I'm not accustomed to giving speeches in front of people. I do much better one-on-one, but I'll talk about some of the conversations I have with people, because the thing I always ask when I'm doing outreach to members is, how are you feeling about things? And that's to get a sense of, whether people are feeling optimistic, angry, afraid, frustrated. I want to know how they feel and make them feel heard, because how they feel determines how motivated they are. And it's interesting to see how members have transformed over the past year and a half. Initially, I think most people thought that bargaining was going to be a slam dunk. The company just came out of a record-breaking year in terms of profits, and I don't think anyone imagined that this would drag on for almost 500 days, and that the company would resort to retaliating against employees, firing our chief steward, all kinds of behaviors that unbecoming of a company that's been considered a pillar in the community for so long. And no one imagined that we would go on strike in a year. It's inspiring to see how we've gone through a transformative change where we started out somewhat passive and complacent, and as the company acted with more and more insensitivity, we became more active and empowered. And at times, I almost want to thank the company for inspiring us to stand up for what is right, but I won't. But after a year and a half, it can be emotionally exhausting to continue a labor dispute. And that's where I think our commitment to moving forward, even when we don't always feel motivated, that's how we'll win this. The people who last are the people who are successful. So, the fact that we're still here a year and a half later just shows how committed and serious we are. So keep up the great work, everyone.
Our next speaker is Socorro Cortez. Socorro wasn't sure where to turn when she suffered discrimination at her workplace, and that is when she found Worker Justice Wisconsin. And they were able to help her file a complaint. During mediation, Worker Justice helped successfully resolve her complaint, and she was grateful for their assistance she received and decided to become a full-time volunteer advocate until she was eventually hired as staff. She has been working at Worker Justice for 3 years as an organizer and director of membership, and loves having the opportunity to help workers and resolve problems she understands firsthand. Please welcome Socorro.
Hola, buenos días. Good morning. Kathy, she said everything right in English. Now I gotta practice my English. Please be patient with me. My name is Socorro Cortez. I am the membership organized at Worker Justice Wisconsin, which is a worker center here in Madison that empowers non-union and immigrant workers. I came to Worker Justice over 4 years ago because I was experiencing discrimination at work and They helped me file and win my case. I was so grateful that I decided to volunteer and then become a staff member to empower other workers like me to stand up for their rights. As the membership organizer, I partner with workers from industry like hotel, construction, food production, and cleaning to create worker justice in our community. In my job, I have seen a lot of unsafe working conditions, sexual abuse, wage theft, and discrimination. I stand here today in solidarity with members of OPEIU 39. God bless you all and keep up with fight.
Now I'd like to introduce a very special guest speaker. This speaker is the daughter of our member, Mark Anderson of OPEIU Local 39 and employed at TruStage. Please give a warm welcome to Lily Anderson.
Good morning. My name is Lily Anderson. My dad, Mark Anderson, works at TruStage as a software engineer. He's part of the union fighting for a fair contract at the company. It seems to me that TruStage doesn't understand what fair or compromise means. I'm going into 7th grade and I know both these concepts. I don't understand why the company won't meet with the bargaining team very often. If this was really important to them, they should work on this every day until they can agree on a fair contract. But it seems like every time I came home from school, there was no update because they weren't willing to meet with the union. And when there were updates, they were stupid. I mean, come on, changing the number 200 to a written out word is not a new offer. This summer, I went to camp for weeks, and I came home to still no update. That's ridiculous. My dad has been very involved in this fight, and I do support that. You may have even seen me in the Hamilton parody videos with him. But I'm getting sick of how long this is taking. Daddy hasn't had a contract now for over a 10th of my life. And it means he's busy every Saturday morning for hours, and sometimes on weeknights too. I miss time with my dad. I want to be able to play board games and go to the movies again, or keep reading Lord of the Rings with him. I'm also hoping that once this is settled and we have the money from what my dad should have been getting paid this whole time, that we can go on a Disney vacation. My mom got a full-time job during this fight, so we're doing okay, but some families aren't. During the strike, I heard about other families that don't have enough money for food. It should have never gotten to the point where people have to make the choice between food and getting treated fairly. Everyone deserves to be treated fairly with respect. Everyone. The union is taking care of its members. TruStage doesn't seem to be taking care of its employees. So TruStage, here's what I have to say to you. Get back in that bargaining room and work on this until you agree. Compromise is a two-way street. It can't just be the union changing positions. You need to try to see things from the other point of view and be fair. These are people's lives here. It's not just about profit. Thank you.
Our next speaker, we're so proud to have him. This is Mike Jones, president of Madison Teachers Incorporated, a union representing more than 3,000 members across 3 bargaining units. Please give a warm welcome to Mike.
Thank you. I don't know how I'm going to follow up Lily, but I'll do my best. You know, before we started the march, I was asked, why is a public sector union supporting a private sector union? When they're considered kind of different entities? Well, one is solidarity, but the reality is because we're the same. Just because one is public and one is private doesn't mean it impacts. You just heard it from one of our scholars, how it impacts the family, the child, and how that child comes to their school every day. So of course that's going to impact my world in education. But I also want to speak as someone from my experiences, as someone who used to work at a bank for 3 years. Before I was an educator, I worked at a bank that no longer exists because they put profits over people, and eventually those profits dried up. My partner and I decided to move all of our resources, all of our money, into credit unions because we believed that credit unions were more socially just and were actually fueled by the people that worked for them and recognized the work and the labor that went into it and the community connection to it. And obviously that's not true based off of what we're seeing now, but you know, it's interesting because it's in this 2022 year in review report from TruStage from your CEO. And these are his words, not mine. The name TruStage signifies relationships built on trust and solutions designed for every stage in life. I am truly honored to work with such an invested and diverse workforce at our company. The experiences, perspectives, and actions of our employees fuel what we do and how we serve our customers. We care about the communities that we serve. Not only do we support a wide variety of organizations through the CUNA Mutual Group Foundation, but our employees graciously volunteer their time and work hard to strengthen their communities. Tell me how providing no pension to any new employee is valuing that work and truly honoring the work. Tell me how requiring those same employees who volunteer their own time into their community to take a pay cut is valuing their work. Tell me how you make 9 figures in profit and then go and pretend that you are cash poor. You have, as employees and as members of OPEIU, you have stood and come through for your community time and time again. You're one of the reasons why my unit and our employees were able to get our cost of living adjustment is because you showed up with the community to support educators in Madison. And it's high time that our community shows up and supports you in your fight for what's right, because we know that our destinies are interlinked with each other. So, solidarity today, solidarity tomorrow, and solidarity forever.
Our next speaker is Liz Kidder. She's actually an employee at TruStage. She is a senior claims professional and a proud member of OPEIU Local 39. And she is currently a member on our contract action team that helps put events like this on for all of you to show your support and so that we can kind of seek more attention to our efforts here with TruStage. Please welcome Liz.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Kidder, and although I'm a kidder, I am not kidding standing in front of you today. My journey with the union didn't begin until October of 22. I was always a union member, but I never was in any of the activities or even knew what our contract said. It wasn't until we started strike talks that I knew I needed to be involved. But before we went on a strike, life decided to throw a curveball at me. I had a house fire 2 days after Christmas. Going through your house with no power, using flashlights to see, ash covering your personal belongings is unreal. But that didn't scare me. A strike did. Fast forward to the day of the strike. It was the first week we were at our house. We still didn't have electricity to the bathroom. So there I am, getting ready in the dark, and I am terrified. And it only got worse on the drive in. Thoughts like, what if I'm the only one there? And is this truly worth it? Well, I got my answer on that picket line. Yes, this is worth it. Not only for myself, but for my coworkers too. I learned when working families are under attack, what do? Thank you. The company did return to the bargaining sessions, but we all learned that was a facade. Once they knew we were returning to work, all negotiating ceased, and all bargaining sessions for the next week were canceled. Yeah. I believe that they were trying to demoralize us. Well, I have something to say, TruStage. It didn't work. They have lied to us. They have tried to intimidate us, and they have retaliated against us. It didn't work. We are still here, we're still fighting, and we are going to get what we deserve, and that's a fair contract. So OPEIU Local 39, friends and family, please join me and let's make them hear it. Who's got the power?
We got the power.
What kind of power?
Union power.
What do we want?
Fair contract.
When do we want it?
Now.
Thank you. Solidarity.
Thank you to everyone for coming out today. And before we bring up the Raging Grannies, just want to say a few words. It has been, as you have heard other speakers say today, 459 days. And as Congressman Pocan said earlier, when the company does better, the employees should do better. Our members have been working at TruStage, Kindred Mutual Group, for the last 80 years. We were brought in as a union at the behest of management saying, because we support credit unions and credit unions support union workers, we should have a union here. Hell yeah, right? What we need now is for the management team, Bob Trunzo on your way out the door, thank you very much. New CEO in is Terrence Williams. Look, we're ready here to bargain. We've been ready to bargain. We have been bargaining. We need the unfair labor practice charges to stop, right? We will continue to file as needed. But come on, all of these employees here want a deal, a fair and equitable deal. So what we say to management is, let's get a fair and equitable deal that secures our future, not just for today, but forever. Solidarity forever. Now welcome the Raging Grannies.